A day without Google apps, the good, the bad and the ugly. Life without Google has been both difficult and exhilarating at the same time. Google is omnipresent in today's tech world, from watching videos on YouTube to sending mails on Gmail. We use Google services and applications in almost every fiber of our life. The extent of Google's presence and domination can be seen in how the term Google has become synonymous with searching on the internet. Recently I tried going a day without using any Google applications or services, which extended to a whole weekend. Now it has been 4 days without Google in my life, and the experience has been both difficult and exhilarating at the same time. Before I get into the experiment in detail, let us talk about why you should consider reducing your reluctance on Google services in the first place. Apart from the thrill of it, there are 2 reasons to consider the same. Firstly, putting all your eggs in one basket has privacy and security downsides. Google collects a sizable amount of data, a history of your voice commands, your Google searches, YouTube history, number of Gmail conversations you've had, location history, and even every website you have visited using Chrome. While there is a way to opt out of some of these, it is buried deep in the settings and is left untouched by most users. Life without Google has been both difficult and exhilarating at the same time. The good. With that out of the way, let me talk about how my experiment went. Take into account that these are my opinions and your mileage may differ. With the decision to delink Google from my life made, the first step of action was to look for alternatives. The most widely used and omnipresent of all Google services is Google Search, and there are 2 main alternatives currently. The first is DuckDuckGo, a search engine that focuses on user privacy and does not collect any user data. On the other hand, we have Bing, Microsoft's answer to Google Search. Out of the 2, I decided to stick to Bing as it provides more relevant search results and seems to have a better image and video search algorithm. The biggest feature of DuckDuckGo becomes its Achilles heel. As it collects no data whatsoever, it is not able to provide personalized results. Shifting to Bing was not as mind-numbingly painful as I had thought. In fact, within a few hours I was not missing Google at all. I was as surprised as anyone. The next course of action was to replace Chrome with another web browser. And Firefox, in its new quantum avatar, came to the rescue. Firefox 57 on Android is fast, snappy and has a clean and modern user interface. In fact, I switched over to Firefox on my personal MacBook Pro and the Windows 10 desktop I have at work, allowing me to seamlessly switch tabs between my desktop, laptop and Android smartphone. Dropping Gmail was also easier than expected. Outlook has a clean interface and works almost as well as Gmail. Google Docs to Word was also a seamless shift. In fact, I came to the realization that Word paired with OneDrive is a more powerful productive tool than Google Docs. Talking about OneDrive, it was my preferred drive replacement. Backing up images automatically to the cloud on OneDrive was a less frustrating affair than that on Dropbox. Other successful changes were seen in swapping Google Keyboard for Menuem, Google Play Music for Gana Plus and Google Translate for Microsoft Translate. Replacing Google Assistant with Cortana was the last piece of the puzzle. Cortana for Android, currently in early access, surprised me both with its feature set and usability. The ability to add specific news topics and quick toggles for tasks like setting an alarm and asking for the weather are just a few examples of how Microsoft has made Cortana intuitive to use. The bad. While there are a few Google Maps alternatives like Wiz and Here We Go on the Play Store, they are simply not in the same ballpark as Google's mapping service. There were a few times when both Wiz and Here We Go refused to show certain routes, which I personally knew would cut down commute time. You can remove Google from almost every part of your life quite successfully, but YouTube is irreplaceable. Out of the 2, Wiz comes the closest to matching Google Maps functionality, but is let down by its slightly unintuitive interface and inconsistent traffic reports. The ugly. YouTube simply has no alternative. And life without YouTube in 2017 is almost unimaginable. Competitors like Vimeo and Dailymotion cannot hold a candle to YouTube in terms of content and have found niche audiences and specific use cases in order to survive. A day and a half into my experiment, I caved and logged back into my YouTube account. You can remove Google from almost every part of your life quite successfully, but YouTube is irreplaceable.